Hello friends and welcome to ISIFE EDUBLOG. I am still your humble tutorial, and today we'll be looking at fractions. What is fractions? Now, fraction originated from the Latin word fractus, which means broken. And as we all know, whatever is broken has lost its wholeness. For example, if I have a plate, a ceramics plate, okay, and my ceramics plate gets broken. Now, once it gets broken, I might still have the pieces yet, yes, but definitely I cannot get back my whole ceramics material. Now, fraction in mathematics is used to denote incompleteness. So, fraction in mathematics is used to denote part of something that was whole. Now, for example, if I have 5 balls, alright, and I decide to share with my friend and give him 2 balls. I'm giving out 2 balls to a friend of mine, have broken the original amount or quantity of balls that I had initially. So I have lost my completeness. Now it means that I gave my friend 2 out of 5 that I had. And if I should give 2 out of 5, definitely I will have 3 balls remaining, right? So what I will now have is 3 out of 5. So fractions in mathematics is used to denote part of something that was whole. Alright, and we represent fraction with something that looks like this. Now here we have what we refer to as a divisional or fractional line. A fractional line or divisional line. Now what we have above this fractional line is known as the numerator. And what we have below this fractional line is known as a denominator. Alright? Now where our numerator and denominator are numbers. Remember, we said that mathematics is all about numbers. So A must be a number and B must also be a number. So when we talk about fractions, we're making reference to something that looks like this. Alright? So let's take a look at examples of fractions. We have 1 over 3, it is a fraction. We have 2 over 5, it is a fraction. We have 4 over 7. Now these are fractions. Now if you look at these and look at what we have on the right hand side of our board, they look alike. Now I have my divisional line, I have a number above my divisional line, and I have a number below my divisional line. Now that is a fraction for you. Okay? Now we'll be looking at the types of fractions we have. The first type of fraction we'll be looking at will be what the fractions we refer to as proper fractions. Proper fractions. The second will be the ones we know as improper fractions. And the third will be the ones we refer to as mixed fractions. Alright. Let's explain these types of fractions. And we will be starting with our proper fraction. Proper fraction. Okay. Now, what are proper fractions? Now, remember what we said about fractions, right? Now, the standard definition of fraction told us that fraction is used to represent something that has lost its wholeness. That where we made reference to A over B. And I know I used my balls as an example where I had 2 over 5. Alright? And 3 over 5. Now, if you look at this fraction, our numerator represents the part, while our denominator represents the wholeness or the whole part, right? Now, a standard fraction should always have our numerators less than our denominators. So whenever we have fractions that obey these rules, now these fractions are referred to as proper fractions. And what do I mean by that? Now, proper fractions are fractions that have their numerators to be less than their denominators. So examples of proper fractions are the two we have on the board, 2 over 5 and 3 over 5. Then other examples are 1 over 3, 1 over 4, 5 over 7, 7 over 9, and so on and so forth. So whenever we have a fraction whereby our numerator is less than our denominator, now such fractions are referred to as proper fractions. Okay? And in proper fractions, I want us to note this. The highest fraction or the highest value in a proper fraction is always equal to 1. Alright? The highest value in a proper fraction or the highest fraction in a proper fraction is always equal to 1. Alright? Okay, so let's move to the next type of fraction, the improper fraction. Sorry. What are improper fractions? What are improper fractions? Okay, improper. Improper. Now this basically means fractions that are not proper. Alright? Now remember what our standard definition of a fraction is. Now in a fraction, our numerator should always be less than our denominator. That is a standard fraction. That is a proper fraction. Now, but whenever we meet fractions or fractions that do not obey that rule, now that will give us an improper fraction. And what do I mean by that? Now, whenever we encounter fractions where our numerators are higher than our denominators, now that or those are fractions. For example, if I have 5 out of 2, if I have 7 all over 5, if I have 9 all over 4, all right. Now, if you look at these numbers we have here, yes. Now this is what our fractions looks like, right? Remember what we said about fractions? Fractions always look like something like this. Now they look like fractions. They are fractions. Now, but if you look at our numerators, my numerator here is 5. My denominator here is 2. My numerator is bigger than my denominator. So they are not obeying the rules of standard fractions. And this is what makes it an improper fraction. Okay? Now I want us to note this in mathematics. Now, we can solve with improper fractions, yes. We can do calculations with improper fractions, yes. Now, but never you leave your answer as an improper fraction. Okay? Now remember, mathematics is something that is ugly. Now we love, doing things the right way. So improper means that it is not right. So you are never expected to leave your answers in improper form. So let's continue. Now that is improper fractions for you. Now the last but not the least type of fraction is the one to refer to as the mixed fractions. Mixed fractions. So what are mixed fractions? Now we refer to mixed fractions as the proper forms of improper fractions. Now let me go again. Mixed fractions are the proper form of improper fractions. What do I mean by that? Now, if we have 5 over 2, alright, this is an improper fraction. Okay, and remember what I said in mathematics, it is basically not allowed to be our final answer. So how do we make these improper fractions proper? Now the solution is to convert it to a mixed fraction. Now what does mixed fraction look like? Now 5 divided by 2 will give us 2 remainder 1, right? So I'll have 2 whole number. Now remainder 1 out of 2. Now this first part is our whole number part, right? Now look at this, our fractional part. I don't know if you notice anything about this fractional part. Now our numerator has become less than our denominator. So the fraction we have here, we've now gotten a proper fraction out of these improper fractions. Alright? So we say that is why we say that mixed fractions are the proper form of improper fractions. And a mixed fraction will always contain your whole number part and a proper fraction in them. So another example is, if we have something like 3 over 2, now it will give us one whole number, 1 over 2. Now our whole number part and a proper fraction in it. Now we can have something like 7 all over 3. This will give us 2, 1 over 3. Alright? So this gives us a whole number part and a proper fraction in it. Okay? So now this is what a mixed fraction looks like. Now what I want us to note something. A mixed fraction is not just a whole number part and a fraction in it. Now the fraction in it must be a proper fraction. All right. Now, so if you resolve into a mixed fraction and you get something improper as the fractional part of it, now know that your answer is wrong. Know that whatever you did is wrong. And always remember that our mixed fraction will always come from improper fractions.